Welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today we're going to do a quick video. I'm going to make some bath bombs because my grandkids are coming to visit, and I love to have bath bombs ready for them. Last time they came over, I didn't have any, and I was remiss. So this is going to be a really quick video. I've done other bath bomb videos before. Today's is different because I'm going to make an oil-free bath bomb. Normally I put like almond oil or some other luxury oil because I love the skin feel. Well, my daughter said, even though I do Polysorbate 80 in there, it can leave a ring around the tub. So today, the only oil is going to be a fragrant oil that we're adding in there. And let's talk about the molds that I'm going to use today. So I have this, I got this from Be Scented, which Jen now has a different store. But anyway, I got this a long time ago. It's a little sunflower and daisy type flower. I love it. And then also I have a donut. These make a nice beefy, like 4-ounce size bath bomb. I love them, and they're so fun. So I just pulled out some really fun colors. I'll do 2 batches. I will show the recipe as I go through quickly, and it will be written down in the description box below for the recipe. So this is oil-free. I am going to add the Polysorbate 80 so that will help. It will help emulsify the bath bomb in the bath water so that it will reduce the chance of a mica line around the tub. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish. So it'll be a quick video. Just got to get these made before the grandkids get here. So let me get everything pulled together and we'll come back and make some bath bombs. All right, we are back, and what I'm going to do is mix all of my dry ingredients through my little sieve here and make sure I don't have any clumps. And then I will add my wet ingredients that makes the bath bomb mixture cling together and go for the right consistency. If it is too dry, I have a little bottle of witch hazel off to the side here that I mist it and mix until I get a nice damp texture that I want, like wet sand. And if it's too wet, you can add a little more of one of your dry ingredients like the baking soda. Also, after I spoke too soon, we're going to add the dry ingredients except the citric acid. I add this after the wet ingredients. That's how I like to do it. You can do all the dry first, but I like to add my citric acid last because that reduces the chance that it will activate and get fizzy before you make the bath bomb. I have more in-depth bath bomb recipe videos up on my channel. If you go there and type in the search engine bath bomb, you'll find a more detailed description, but we're going kind of quick today. So let's talk about what we've got. Baking soda, it's a staple ingredient in bath bombs. And we need 454 grams of baking soda. And the next dry ingredient I'm going to throw in here is SLSA. It's a foaming agent. My grandchildren love fizzy, foamy bath bombs, so I like to add it in there. If you don't have SLSA or you don't want to add this, just replace the dry with the baking soda for the volume. This is 8 grams of SLSA. It really does make a fun bath bomb, though, the fizzy, foamy. I love that. And then the last ingredient here that we're going to mix in is a starch of some kind. I am using Cream of Tartar. You could use cornstarch, you could use arrowroot powder, you could even use kaolin clay. It's just a nice binding agent. It makes the bath bomb rock hard. I love it. So today I did go for Cream of Tartar, but any of those, sub the volume out. I'm using 113 grams of Cream of Tartar. All right, now we just need to get this all sifted through, and then we'll talk about our wet ingredients. All right, and again, citric acid is off to the side here. The wet ingredients, what's in this little cup is 12 grams of Polysorbate 80. You could use Polysorbate 20 if you wanted. It's a little more liquidy, so I would use a little less. And again, if you don't want to add the Poly 80, you don't have to. I would just replace that volume with water or witch hazel or rubbing alcohol, liquid of your choice. So 12 grams, 22 grams of fragrance oil, and 12 grams of water. That's what's in here. Got it all mixed together, and go ahead and add that in. And then I'll give this a nice mix with my hands and see that it gets well and incorporated, and then we'll come back with our citric acid at the last. and give it a squeeze test and see if it's the consistency we want. So let's just get in here. Not making a huge batch, but I am going to be duplicating this. So this is one batch that I'm going to do the little flowers in, and then I'll repeat exactly the same again for the little donuts so that they will have a variety of colors and shapes to choose from. Bath time is always a fun time at Mimi's house. I'm a Mimi. Any of you grandmas out there, what are you? Are you a Nana, a grandma, a Mima? What are you? I would love to hear your grandma names. I had originally, because they call my husband Papa, I wanted to be Mama, but the girls thought that was too close to Mom, so I got to be Mimi, and I'll take it. You know what? Any name is good with me. I love grandkids. So there it is. That's pretty well and mixed in, so nothing's going to get activated. Now, let me get my sieve back. Because my citric acid is a little clumpy, I just want to make sure I don't have any clumps in here working against me. Beautiful. Nice and smooth. And I'll just get a feel for this. And then we're going to add our mica color in here. I'll do yellow for my little daisies type flowers, or whatever kind of flowers those are. They're pretty and I want them to be yellow. So that's what we're going to do. All right, let's see. It's looking pretty good, maybe a little dry. So I'm going to go ahead and mix my mica in here, and then I will come in and mist if I feel like I need a little more moisture. So today I'm using, this is from Rustic Essentials. I got this a long time ago. It's a beautiful yellow color. And I'm going to do about, we'll call that a teaspoon. Let's just see what that gets us, and we'll go from there. Ooh, pretty, really pretty. I like using a really big bowl like this so I can really mix stuff and mash it around. You don't need a bowl quite this big, but I love my big stainless mixing bowl for bath bombs. I could be doing double this size and still have lots of room to work. So for me, a big bowl is good. All right. I love that color. I'm not going to add any more. So now I'm going to come in and rub. And that just helps me feel if any little clumps have gotten away from me, uncolored portions. And again, I'm not making these for retail. These are for my grandkids. So if there's a little bit of, uncolored blop, it's not the end of the world. But if you're going to retail and you want perfection, really take your time and work this as much as you need to get it absolutely, perfect. Not that my grandkids don't deserve perfect. Boy, I feel like I'm digging myself in a hole here. Of course they do, but you know what? Those little white spots would not bother them at all. So you know what I'm saying. Kids are so forgiving. If their bath bomb is funky, they don't care. They just like the fizzy, foamy goodness. All right, that is looking good for me because we're moving quick here today. So let's see. And let me say, at the day I'm filming this, it is Tuesday. Grandkids are coming Thursday. So these are going to have to dry overnight and stuff, so they will be ready for the grandkids. Now I gave it a good hard squeeze. It's pretty much holding together. So I am not going to spritz this right now. I'm going to go ahead, get my mold and my press and see if it holds together in the press because I would like to have the least amount of liquid in here as needed. All right, here's my setup. I have a hand press because it makes it easier on my wrists. You can find these on Amazon. I got this a really long time ago. I will try and find a link for something similar. It's just a little lever action that packs the bath bomb down in a nice kind of even way. So here it is. This mold comes with 3. I'm going to put the flour in the ring. We're going to fill it up to fluffy, put the backside on and press it. And we'll see if it holds. If it starts to be crumbly looking, I'll go ahead and spritz with my witch hazel. So I've got that ready to go. And I'm not going to weigh these because these are for grandkids. But if you're retailing, I have a paper plate here. I would put this down on the scale and weigh the amount of fluff so that you know how much your product weighs. That's, important for retail. So do that if you're selling your bath bombs. So you want it nice and mounded up because it does smush down quite a bit. Knock off the extras and come over here and press. And I just rotate it a few times And then I'll even flip it and press a few more times. There we go. I need my tray to put the bath bombs on to dry. This is a tray I got from Webstaurant. It's a baking sheet and it is variegated, or it has the holes in it so air can flow through even though there's parchment paper on it. It still has breathable airflow. And I will set these out, and tomorrow morning I'll come and flip them over and let them sit with for a few hours with the other side, sunny side up, if you will, because you want all the sides of your bath bomb to get air exposure for drying. So I like to flip them about halfway through their drying process. The tapping just sort of helps loosen everything up. And let's take a look here. So I like to clear the little ring and tap again. Oh, perfect. Look how pretty that is. And when these are dry, I'll probably come in with just a touch of mica paint and do the little eye of the flower, because it'll just give it some dimension and make it look extra pretty. And be delicate with them, but these are holding together beautifully, so I'm not going to add any more liquid at this point. Now, bath bomb fluff can dry out pretty quick, so if I sat here talking or took a phone call or something and slowed down making these, I might need to add a little spritz because this can dry out. So just keep that in mind, and let's get to pressing some more bombs. Batch number 1 is done. Rinse and repeat, and we'll get to our little donuts. And I got 6 nice, healthy bath bomb size. We'll weigh these after they dry. Here they are. They're going to sit like this overnight. Then I'll flip them and let them sit for another half a day before I consider them fully dried. And then we'll come in and do a little mica painting on my flowers. I love these. I didn't have quite enough fluff left over for a full size, so I had a mini donut there. But I do have some fluff left. I call it fluff. I don't know what else to call unshaped bath bomb stuff. If you have an idea for what to call this, let me know. But I have some left, so let's pour some water on it and watch it foam and fizzy, because I want to save all of these for my grandbabies. So I'm not going to do a bath bomb test tomorrow, but I will show you how wonderful and activated. Look at that. This just goes and goes. And the Polysorbate 80 helps them to break down a little slower, so they do last a good while in the tub. And one of these will scent up a big bathtub full. These are nice beefy sized bars. Oh, it's fluffy, it's soft. I love it. All right, it is the next day, and I came down early this morning and flipped these over, and they are nice and just rock hard. And so I flipped them back, and now I'm going to take a little dry mica and paint the little eyes of my flowers just to give them a little dementia. I'm using this dark chocolate mica. You could make a mica paint with a rubbing alcohol solution, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to take a risk of activating the bath bomb and letting it bubble up. So just a little dry mica. Dot my little makeup brush / mica brush. This has never been used for makeup. It was an extra in a kit I got of makeup brushes, so this has been designated to my soaping studio. And tap off the extra, and I'm just gonna dot it on here, easy peasy, just to make these look a little extra special. And there we go. I think that just looks pretty. I am in Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, near Nashville. It's warming up outside. It's very humid, but my basement has a big dehumidifier and is dry and cool. If you are in a very hot, humid climate, and you're making these, you would need a little less liquid. If you're in a very dry, like high desert climate, you might need a little more liquid. So the recipe I'm giving you is what I use to make these in my climate and in my basement. But just know that climate has a big factor when you're making bath bombs. So if you have to tweak the liquid portion a little, either bump it up or bump it down just because of where you're at, your area, keep that in mind. There. These are so cute. And I think my grandkids are going to love them. But these are 6 by 6 inch shrinkable bags that I love to use because they fit lots of different sizes. These are nice hefty size bars, and they'll fit in here perfectly. And big round bath bombs, these fit well. And then these are shrinkable, so if you take a heat gun, it'll shrink and seal it down, which really lends to stability. So if you are retailing these, I would shrink these down, and it makes them really stable for shipping. They can get knocked around, they won't chip and anything. But for ease of opening, I'll show you what I'm going to do here. Let me take a bag, find the opening, grab a bath bomb, and these do have a few cracks, no big deal. And I love my impulse sealer here, works like a charm. And I'm going to just, well, all right, there we go. So this is how I would do all these. And then if I was retailing, I'd come in with my heat gun and shrink this up and put a round label, because these are round. A 2 or 2.5 inch round label would fit perfectly. That's how I used to retail these. And if you are labeling, you want to name what the product is, and you want to have a list of ingredients in descending order from greatest to least, and the weight of the product. That's what you need for a retail label. But I'm going to leave these like this, because if you have ever bought anything that's been shrink band before, it's hard to open. And when I leave it loose like this, you can just tear it open real easy. And these are for my grandchildren, and I want them to be able to open these easily. So this is how I'm going to be leaving these, just for ease of opening. And the fact that they're sealed up, if we don't use all these in their visit, they can take them home, and this will keep the humidity and environmental from getting in there, and you know, this will just keep them preserved much better. So that is how I'm going to be doing it. Let's get the rest of these sealed up. All right, so this is going in the upstairs guest bath for the grandkids. So happy to do this. What a quick, easy little gift you could make for somebody. You just need a day or two advanced warning to let them dry out. But so simple, easy, and they are going to be thrilled. I weighed these. These are a little over 5 ounces, pretty hefty. This is a little over 4 ounces, so these are good-sized bath bombs. If you have a big soaking tub, these would fizz up the whole tub. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was quick and grandkids are going to love these. I hope you give the recipe a try, this no oil version. These are rock hard. They are going to fizz and foam and do all the things bath bombs need to do. So I hope you give the recipe a try and I hope you have a wonderful day.